In the cold void of the galaxy it drifts, an ancient monolith of impossible design, a place of forbidden knowledge where secrets long buried whisper in the dark. Those who seek the Blackstone fortress do so at their peril, for within its walls lie wonders beyond comprehension, and horrors that should never be unearthed. Welcome to the Blackstone Fortress.
Good evening. Welcome back to the Blackstone Fortress. I am once again your host, Chris, aka Snowy Night Owl. Joining me tonight will be Nate, aka Pilch, Limerick, aka Coda, and Ice King 132, better known as Mark. Hello,
Yes.
boys.
Vindication.
Howdy.
How are we doing?
Feeling good. Feeling good. Great to be
going.
here.
Good.
Weather sucks, but I think it's because I just entered the second part of winter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in the calm before the storm out here right now, where there's still snow on the forecast, but it's like 17 degrees and sunny. So
Nice.
Yeah.
It was like
We,
64 degrees here.
Yeah, we were cooling down too. It was like 71.
We were at mid 70s all last week, and this week we're struggling to hit 30.
Nice.
Oh,
Can't
Canada and your
wait for
weather. We love it. We've been informed that Colleen and Mr. Colleen will not be joining us tonight, so we're gonna jump right in. We got some stuff to discuss this week, gentlemen. Mordaka caught some nerfs. We have homework for the podcasters from last episode, courtesy of Coda. The Emperor's Children, the rest of their units have been set out for pre-order. They're available to purchase. And I'm going to a tournament on Saturday, so we've got topics of conversation. So let's jump in first and talk about these Mordaka nerfs, because oh boy, I don't know that there's a single orc player that's happy this edition.
Yeah, like is anyone at your tournament? I just locked in list beforehand, right? You can't just make changes.
Yeah, our list lock-in was on the 4th, and they nerfed it on the 6th.
When was the rules lock-in?
4th.
Oh, okay.
then
So
you're
they get
fine.
this.
So
the last.
we get pre-nerf Mordaka at this tournament, and like one of the guys on our team is running Mordaka, so
Nice.
he was sweating bullets a little bit. And honestly, the way that these nerfs came down, like you'll pardon the turn of phrase, but he dodged a bullet.
He dodged Mordaka.
Yeah.
Very dramatic. Kind of just like, oh, by the way, kneecapped.
They were sweeping and aggressive, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm as I usually end up doing on this podcast, I aggressive nerfs to be had. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say they're kneecap. I know everybody is saying it is. Like I know Goonhammer says this is a foregone conclusion and everything, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know that Goonhammer has said that it's kneecapped. It's just it's not what it was going to be. And
no.
The way that the essentially the summary of Goonhammer's opinion on the nerfs is that it changed a couple of units from being really stupid, obnoxious auto takes for dumb reasons and made it the kind of detachment that you have to build and play around a lot more carefully. So it's a high skill floor detachment now that can still do a lot of really crazy things on the table, but between specifically a nerf to get stuck in, lads, actually 2 separate nerfs to get stuck in, lads, where now it's 2 CP instead of 1, and it can't target Gretchen units, which breaks one specific cheese that was kind of core to the way this was being played on the top tables with Zodgrod and 20 Gretchen. So
to give a bigger explanation, what that meant for players is you would get hemmed in by the orc player because he'd have 23 models stretched across your starting line, because they'd get to move something like I want to say 24 inches.
Yeah. It was a big stupid sprint that they could pull off, and then they could just sit there and laugh while the rest of their detachment just blasted things.
It was beautiful.
I do think that the 2 CP is warranted. Like, I don't know, like that change in and of itself, the change to get stuck in lads, I'm 100% behind. You should not be able to get your detachment or your army rule every turn.
Yeah. No, and that's 100% a thing. But like, I think get stuck in lads being 2 CP and taken away from Gretchen and reducing the army rule to sustained hits 1 would have been enough. But instead, they've changed the detachment rule, Daka Daka Daka, entirely, where now so originally it was sustained hits 2 to all weapons for infantry and walker units. And then during a WA, infantry and walker units get assault. Once per game, army could advance, shoot, and charge while also being more durable. And get stuck in lads, let one unit have the WA every turn. Now, the detachment rule gives assault full time, and during the WA, you get sustained hits 1. And I don't like that change. I think they should have left sustained hits 1 on, because sustained hits 1 instead of 2 takes value out of a few specific units that were being taken as sort of core to these lists, because they already have sustained hits 1.
Right. Double up.
And then assault during the WA makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so
Sorry,
yes.
but
But
Yeah.
I'm like reading this shit as we're talking about, like, oh yeah, they did do that. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. No, I think you are going to see more knobs, more mega knobs, more of the melee oriented that can also shoot.
Yeah.
Because the ability to run up the board, still shoot, and then charge in on the wall is going to be great. Because everything right now, it was weird. Because unless you were on the wall, Mordaka couldn't advance and shoot, which meant that you still had to play like a shooting one. But with the wall, you could advance and shoot and charge for an army that does not want to do that.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see more knobs, more mega knobs. You're going to see gas. You're going to see you'll see less of the 60 lutas or 30 lutas, more of the breaka boys, the tank, that stuff. Sorry. So I think that you'll see a lot a shift from just aggressive over or overpowered shooting to going to use it to weaken units so I can charge into them and kill them reliably.
Yeah. My issue with that being sort of the design intention with this is that it overlaps a lot still with Tactical Brigade, because I think Tactical Brigade should have been the I can do a bit of both depending on how I want to play. And Mordaka should still be shooting focused. And I think giving them assault baseline and only sustained hits 1 during the WA is the wrong direction to take a detachment like this that should be sort of pointed in that general direction.
So, yeah, totally. I actually 100% agree with you there. I personally think that what they should have done was assault 1 baseline, assault 2 on the wall. Or sorry, sustain 1 baseline, sustain hit 2 on the wall, and throw
Just not have it
down.
be a mobility detachment at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, because having one go around where you've got sustained hits 2 and you don't have the mobility, so like you have to position well to use it, I think rewards smart play with the shooting units that are available to the orcs.
I do think that there is a lot of inherently strong leader buffs that the orcs get that make sustain just so much more brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, sustain hits is surprisingly very potent when it hits.
But at the same time, I don't know. They had to do something. No detachment should win first, second, and third in 5 major tournaments.
Well, and it's funny because like Goonhammer has an analysis of the tournament data. So the first weekend that Mordaka was out, 57 players picked up orcs. for events with 28 or more players and 5 or more rounds. If you remove mirror matches, they had a 62.5% win rate. About half of the players going into round 4 with orcs were 3-0 in those events, hence the 3-0 average first loss score, which is insanely high. If you restrict it to just Mordaka players, it jumps to a 3.4 average first loss score. And then if you take out any lists that ran Gorkanauts or Morkanauts, the win rate jumps to 71.5%.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, has there been an army like that before that needed emergency
Yep.
nerfs so fast?
Votan.
Votan, 9th edition Votan, launch weekend. They got banned from pretty much every major tournament 48 hours after they were released.
Amazing.
Yeah, they didn't see tournament play before their nerf.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, really? At all?
Yeah. No, it was
No, not at all.
so bad, and the math was so obvious literally the day that it dropped that every TO was like, absolutely fucking not. That's not happening. Have I told you about the ridiculous math of 9th edition launch Votan?
No.
There was a setup that you could do with a Brokir Iron Master
disgusting.
and a Hecaton Land Fortress using the Ymir detachment, that for 1 CP you could reliably output 28 to 34 mortal wounds in a single turn of shooting.
What the hell?
Yeah. So I guess to better answer Mark's question, no, there has never been another army that has seen results like this, because the only other time this has happened, it didn't get to go to tournaments.
Actually, yeah, that's a valid point. Wasn't it something like a 54% win rate swing with the nerfs to Votan though?
Yeah. They went from like 80% win rate just amongst casual play to
like 25%. Yeah. Oh, it was bad for a while there.
Yeah. That being said, last week was the first weekend where they were starting to get banned, right?
This weekend will be the first weekend that Mordaka is being banned.
No.
Well, officially, there were some TOs that were like doing it themselves.
Yeah, there were a few, but the bans didn't hit for last weekend's tournaments.
I thought because it's been out for 2 weekends.
Yeah, and it's made it through 2 weekends of tournament play, I think.
I thought the first weekend it made it through. The second weekend saw bans, and the third weekend's now seeing nerfs.
Maybe it's some minor events, but I don't think, because there were TOs that like for their rules lock in, which for tournaments this weekend it would have hit. They were banning Mordaka, and then the nerfs hit on Monday or whatever it was.
Can I just say why I'm asking?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. Never mind. I'm looking at it here. If I drop down, 63% win rate, 16 X and O's.
Yeah.
Or X and ones.
Which is just insane.
Yeah. Hilariously though, not the most X and O's of the weekend.
No, that went to it wasn't Lions, was it?
Nope, the Dirty Crons.
Necrons.
Damn you, Necrons. Continuing to be a problem.
I love my new meta.
Since January of last year, Necrons have been at the top or near top for most of the edition. With 53 players, they had 57% win rate with 2 event wins and 17 X and O, X and 1 loss finishes.
That's insane. Like, that's actually insane.
You love to see it. You know, just it's, from what I've heard, it's just a ton of buff stacking with the Warriors unit and as much reanimation as possible. At least part of it.
So there is only one. Okay, Mr. Necron Man.
Hello.
What detachment is sub 55%? Out of all their detachments, only one detachment is sub 55% win rate. What one is it?
It's the Destroyer Cult one, isn't it?
What's that called?
Oh shit! What is it called?
Here, I'll give you an extra life because no, you're not right.
Oh shit! Really? Oh, is it a Basin's Phalanx?
Nope. So the lowest win rate detachment last weekend for Necrons was Hypercrypt Legion at 45%.
What?
4 players played it, 9 wins, 20 games played.
I was going to say that's
45%.
That's a case of people not moving to the better detachments, and you've got players that don't really know what they're doing, still running old meta
At,
lists.
Gold
at
medalist, yeah.
56%, Star Shatter Arsenal
Yeah.
went 7 Exynos.
Jesus.
Good. It's
At
good. It's good.
57%, Awakened Dynasty went 8 Exynos.
You gotta tell us
yeah.
how many players like played each detachment
Okay.
though.
So Star Shatter had 21 players.
And then with a 56% win rate at 21 players.
Yes.
Good
Yes.
Lord.
At 23 players, Awakened Dynasty had a 57% win rate.
Yes.
Love it. Love Awakened Dynasty.
One player had a 60% win rate with Annihilation Legion.
How?
Okay,
With what?
that's what we like to
Went
call
3
an
and 2.
outlier.
Went 3 and 2.
Ay, ay,
One player went 2 and 1, and therefore 67% win with the Obsessions,
Obeisance.
Obeisance Phalanx.
Ay, ay, ay.
And then with 3 players, they went 67% with Canoptic Court.
Canoptic Court's still so good.
So by what I'm seeing here, even with the outliers, there is not a bad detachment to be had.
That's
Minus
wild.
Hypercrypt.
I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. Annihilation Legion has been so like bleh the entire edition.
It was one
know?
player. You can't take
Yeah, but
one
he shouldn't
player
be-
as a valid statistic.
He shouldn't have won those games. I'm just saying.
Well, okay, but
so
if it's his early round
Chris-
games and it's like a 60-player tournament,
Chris is very, very correct, by the way, with this, because one player went 60% with Imperial Agents.
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
See,
Okay.
statistics is
Understood.
bullshit and everyone hates it. Don't take a single data point as the gospel. For all we know, he fought like Imperial Agents for the first 3 rounds. Like it's.
So what I am seeing, though, is that there is paths to success with every detachment that the Necrons have. Whether you're an outlier or not, there is not. Well, I mean, Hypercrypt being the major outlier, and even then, they went 9 and 11.
I honestly think
not horrible.
By and large, one of the things that have made the Necrons, because the Necrons are arguably approaching like Space Marine levels of popularity within sort of the general fan base at large. But I think one of the big things that they've done really well with the Necrons is that their detachments, by and large, are very straightforward. The Necrons have a thing, they do that thing really well. Here's how you improve the thing in the specific flavor, the way that you want to. Go have fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So
it's like honestly, detachment rule is just so straightforward.
I have another detachment that I'd like you to look and see if there's any people playing it at all, and I want to know if experimental battlesuit cadre or experimental prototype cadre is seeing players, because honestly, it was the closest to what I want from the Tau that I had seen yet.
So I will say it is not the worst detachment that played this weekend for Tau.
Oh boy.
With 12 players, it won 21 games out of 58, giving it a 36% win rate.
Jesus, really?
Yeah. Retaliation Cadre had a 35% win rate with 4 players. Their most successful was the Crude Hunting Pack with 3 players, 9 wins, with one of those players going X and O or X and 1.
So what I'm hearing is that because really experimental prototype cadre should be the Tau detachment. It is as Tau as the Tau have been since fucking 7th edition. And a 36% win rate means that the game is just very favored to melee right now. I think I'm of the opinion.
So I will say no, with a caveat.
No, with an asterisk.
It is not favored to melee as far as you have to play melee to win. You can't just be shooting.
No.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. 100%.
And that is where Tau fall apart, because there is tons of shooting lists that win as Space Marines, as Votan, as Astra Militarum, but they have the ability to survive in melee, and Tau do not.
No.
There is no Blade Guard veterans for Tau.
No, 100%. Now, I am the proud owner of a story about the one time when my Fireside Cadre marksman successfully soloed a Chaos Sorcerer Terminator in melee. But
Beautiful.
it was glorious. It was so beautiful. It made me so happy.
If they want melee units, just take some crew. That's all they get.
He whipped out his fucking Leatherman and said, "Fuck you."
Nate will be happy to hear that Lions of the Emperor still remains sub 50%, so it's not going to get hit with nerfs anytime soon.
Hell yeah. It's really not that good until like late third, early fourth.
Well,
until the units start dying.
With 53% or with 53 players, it went 48% win rate with 7 X and O wins.
See, 7 X and O tells me there's a lot of people that don't know how to utilize Lions properly, because Lions, I think, is another skill 4 detachment.
Yes, very much so. I think, yeah, no, it definitely is. What are some other interesting ones? Drukari won 55% over the weekend as a whole.
How many players?
16 players total. 4 of them went X and O.
Not bad.
The majority of them played Sky Splinter Assault with a 50% win rate. The best, however, was Reaper's Wager. 4 of them played it with a 65% win rate. 2 of them going X and O. Grey Knights had a major tournament win this weekend, and when I say that, I mean that they won an overall tournament.
Like first place did the thing.
Yeah. They had they had 26 players winning 73%, so they won 55% as well. It's been a good weekend actually for stuff like for variance.
For balance. Well, that's good.
Overall, the total win rate was 49%, which is what you're looking to see roughly.
Yep.
With the lowest being 42% at Black Templars.
It's crazy to see Black Templars getting pushed out of the meta.
Well, so the problem is the winning Black Templar list is the Gladius Task Force because it allows you to fall back and charge.
Right.
So
cool.
But
yeah, I remember being such a boogeyman so long ago.
I mean, they still can be. I think the people who play Black Templars are very similar to people who play Blood Angels and any codex or non-codex compliant specific chapter. They want to play it their way. So, like, for example, the majority of players played Righteous Crusaders. Righteous Crusaders has a 33% win rate. Like that, but that is the Black Templar detachment. That is, nobody else gets to play it that way, and it's very Black Templar-y.
Right.
So it's yeah.
Thank you very much.
I do find it very interesting that as I'm looking at it, the only, except for Deathwatch, because they have no other option. The only other Space Marine non-Space Marine Codex army that's winning with their own detachments is Blood Angels. Everybody else is winning with the generic detachments, not theirs, chapter specific ones.
Oh, so the World Eaters, but better, are doing World Eater things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Stupid sexy jump backs.
There's one of the, so we have our two, so the tournament I'm going to this weekend is a team tournament. Our 2 hard carries is a Mordaka and a Blood Angels player. And the Blood Angels player was saying, where did this go? He has a captain. Is it a different chat?
Oh, a Smash Captain?
He's got a Smash Captain, and he was saying that it's one of those things that honestly kind of needs to be like removed from the game. If I can find the actual message, because
it's stupid.
Oh yeah. Funny thing, the biggest damage potential is that Foot Captain. My current record is 22 dev wounds on best day ever mode.
That's on the charge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
an enhancement that then lets him like pull lethals as well, or something, or devs as well, or something. It's insane.
It's beautiful.
Yep. No, it's horrible. They wear red and they wear red and they hit harder than I do.
They
Like,
wear red
come
and they
on,
smack
man.
things, and they're not
It's
well.
That's
copyright.
my game.
Yeah.
They're not self-stated followers of Korn. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough. They like blood a bit more than I do, but for very different reasons.
I shall
But-
drink your memories.
Yeah, no, it was a good weekend all the way around.
All I want in life right now is my codex.
Yes,
Remember?
yes, you do.
Oh my god, yes I do.
My little game store.
Oh, hey, speaking of, oh, sorry, continue.
Although Traitoris Lance, admittedly probably oops all dogs, went with 45 players, 8 X and O's.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, because the changes that they made to the detachment in December are really, really good for the detachment, and they almost make it viable with
Oops all dogs.
big knights. No, they almost make big knights viable because like the enhancements are all of a sudden good. When the detachment rule and the army rule works, it works and it makes big knights good. The problem is whoever designed knights, Chaos Knights, and their detachment rule was sitting in a different meeting room than whoever designed the leadership scores for every other army in the game. And so it's really
What do you mean?
like I'm like, okay, so I get to battle shock everything within 12 inches that's taken any damage on or at a -1. Do you know the number of times that has not been testing on a 7 at worst?
Yeah.
I can count it on one hand. So if you're testing for a 7 on 2d6, it's like, oh, okay, great. So your 50% became a 44%. Like,
Yeah. Strange game design. What's
it's
the philosophy?
really dumb. Because then whoever designed the Imperial Knights detachment, they understood the assignment. Did a really friggin' good job of it too. So
Yeah.
Personally
Yeah, they did.
yeah, I'm upset about it, and I'm gonna be loud about it until my codex drops.
Sometime next year.
No, this summer.
Oh, sure. And it was World Easter too.
Oh no, don't do that to me. No.
They're gonna announce that it's gonna open. It's like, oh, next week on Easter Sunday.
Speaking of knights and their codex coming this summer, though, did you guys see the rumor engine from April 1st?
No.
No, I saw the new like keypad
Is it a
one.
bunch
Some
of
dude holding
bullshit?
it.
Well, yeah,
It's just
there's a keypad one from today that honestly kind of looks like a Votan device. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed for them, because dear God, do they need a range expansion more than we need a range expansion. But the big
That's a flamer.
rumor that's running around in Knights and specifically Chaos Knight spaces online is that we're finally getting a named, like a character knight and or a dedicated chaos version of the Knight Tyrant. So there was that 3-headed
Names
drill
would be
thing,
cooler.
which we talked about in the last of a episode, that looks like it could
Yeah.
be a night weapon. But one of the things that a lot of people are saying is that the size of the trim on the pieces and the chain on that flamer makes it look like it could be night scale, which means there's a chance that we're actually getting a big knight with a proper flamer on it.
Jesus.
So
I got that one flamer.
but that's only on the tyrant.
Medium-sized flames.
This could be a Questoris scale flamer.
So it could
/
go on
possibly a
anybody?
new war dog. Because if it's a war dog with a
War dog
flamer,
with flamers would be sweet.
because war dogs can overwatch.
Yeah, they're the only thing they could.
Yeah. Which, I mean, please God, give me my Overwatch back on Titanic units. I need it.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you're too. Yeah, those guns move so slow, bro. You don't need it. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it only on touring weapons for Titanic units.
Which again means that I get exactly one knight that can do it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Same.
While we're on
I-
the subject
okay,
of changes,
So I'm not heartless. I am scarred.
though. Scarred
I
by what?
remember 8th edition Knights,
Mm,
where it
I've
was
been
simply if you didn't have -4 AP, bye bye.
Yeah, no, and that was the sillier version of Knights. But I remember I was pining the other day for 9th edition Knight Abominate, where
Yeah.
it wasn't all that scary in terms of its damage output, but fuck you for trying to kill it. Like,
Yes, but in terms of changes, Mister.
yeah, well, and so this was our homework from last week. So while we're on the subject of little things that we would change, we were sent away by Master Coda with an assignment, and that is one change that you would make to fix the game. Maybe not in its entirety, but a change, be the change that you want to see. So we're going to start with the quietest member of the podcast. We're going to put him in the hot seat. We're going to make Pilch go first.
You're a whore.
I am. You're going to have to deal with
All
it.
right. So I've got two. I'm gonna say the first one that I don't have an answer for, that I would like discussion on. Consolidation and its 14 different rules that you have to abide by.
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to change in some way, shape, or form, and I'm not sure how.
Okay.
The one that it really doesn't even apply to me, but I think is dumb that they got rid of it. Why don't we bring back single model point values? I don't like that you're stuck into, like, say, 4 wardens, like for Custodes, or two like Aquilin, like whatever they're called, Terminators.
Don't Custodes have like increased by 1 point values for a lot of their units? Like I feel like they're the one
Not
bad
anymore.
example. Did they get rid of that
Not
too?
anymore.
No,
Yeah.
they got rid of that as well. Like just for, like, say, Space Marines, like what's their normal, like
It's 5 or
like
10.
5? Yeah.
Yeah.
So why you pay an extra, what, 20-30 points for 6?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I don't understand why they got rid of that. It
I
would
would-
make it a lot easier to min-max your army.
I would argue that this is part of a conversation that I think merits having at some point about bringing back points granularity in general.
No, I think there should be a limit, a minimum on how many units you can have, or how many models you can have in a unit, but I don't think there should be a hard set number.
So the reason they did that in 10th edition only, because it has
No,
been
I
only
know.
since 10th, is to simplify things. Because the only reason I say to simplify things is because you say to min-max your list, nobody's bringing 6 Terminators. It puts you over the threshold for blast too much. So it's not worth the 30 points. Nobody's bringing 15 guardsmen because the extra 5 guardsmen aren't worth the points. What I'd like to see is knowing, and like to answer, or to, in my opinion, round out the problem. Why do we have things that are 35 points? 35 doesn't go into 2000. The game is built around 2000.
Yeah, it should be more like, should be like 40 or.
Yeah, like make it, what, like if you want to bring a list full of whatever, I do believe that you should be able to make 2000 point lists without the hodgepodge of 5 points here and there.
Yeah.
Because like 1995, which is a completely viable tournament list, it still makes you feel bad because, like, if I could just get those 5 points somewhere.
And like any time that the Games Workshop would release like a nerf or a change to a certain unit, like it would be really easy to just like, oh, I'll just take off like 2 models then, and really not change your list at all. Like the nerf would be kind of just invalidated just based off points.
Yeah, so I think points granularity needs to come back in certain respects. I do think certain armies like the Custodes would benefit from single model additions.
I mean, yeah, they're so expensive per model.
Yeah,
Which they need to be, but
do you think bringing back point granularity for like war gear would be better than models.
See, I don't know. I think I have a hard time with that.
Yeah, because
And
like how it, yeah.
I
And
have a
this
hard time
isn't
with what they did, and I have a hard time with any fixes. What they did was say so if a unit can be 120 points with its maximum loadout, we're going to
Mhm.
make it 120 points.
yeah,
But
and then
the
just
problem
configure
with that is if I decide to bring flamers because the meta decides to bring flamers, and flamers weren't
paying
that
more.
120, yeah, exactly, and flamers weren't that 120 point thing, I can't bring more flamers because now I'm being charged melta prices for flamers.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is the monotony of building a list and trying to wiggle those extra points around again was nickel and diming people to death.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
like too much. Really,
It was
just
not
bad
fun in a
for
lot of
production.
cases. But the other
Mhm.
thing that we're seeing them do though is split out data sheets into like what they've done with Sisters of Silence and Crisis Suits are the two that come to mind. Where instead of being a data sheet, like one data sheet that used to be able to throw a bunch of different options onto, now there are 3 different
37
data
different
sheets.
options.
Yeah.
And I think for the most cases that should work. In most cases, especially like for example, a heavy weapons team, you could have a heavy weapons Talon team for las cannons, a heavy weapons missile team, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And even if they weren't to even if all they did was change the weapon and not change the profile. So let's say you have the heavy weapons data sheet, and for all missiles, it's this point value. For all las cannons, it's this point value. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, the problem was when they made that rule change at the end of
Mhm.
ninth, they did it with guard first. They said guard can have free weapon gear choice or war gear choices.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh man, that sucks. Not because suddenly we got to bring the biggest and baddest shit, but because we didn't have to go through the pain of nickel and diming ourselves.
Yeah, it's like I've been doing this for years. What the fuck?
Well, because everybody assumed you were going to bring the best stuff anyways. So now
Yeah.
you just could. You didn't have to try and wiggle the points around.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But so yeah, I like that choice, Pilch, and I do see the merit in changing it. And I think,
Like, yeah, I mean, I definitely see the pros and cons now that you've said that. I think for certain armies, it would merit more of a benefit than others for sure. But
yeah, even if every army got some variance of it on certain units, like yes, you're
yeah,
not bringing 15 guard, but maybe you want to bring 7 terminators.
yeah,
Maybe it needs to be a baseline of 5, and then for every extra terminator, it's 30
Yeah,
points,
cost.
25 points, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it ramps up diminishing.
And well, not even ramps up. It's so let's do
it's
a
just per
point per model. And so at 5, it's X, at 10, it's X, and at the in between, it's whatever 10
If
minus
it's
7.
150 for 5, then it's 30 points per model.
Right.
Yeah. And I still think you'd see most people bring either 5 or 10. But for things like custodies, where you're often left with not enough points to bring a full unit, but maybe more than enough points to bring a model.
Right.
Yeah.
They get the most
So.
benefit, yeah.
Yeah. As for the consolidation thing,
I just don't. I straight up just don't enjoy all the fucking bullshit that comes along with it.
I straight up think if your unit killed another unit in combat, you get 3 inches of movement.
Yeah, I don't think
That
you
should
should
be all
have
it is.
to be able to move like base to base or have to move. Like,
I don't think it should be. There should be any restriction on it. 3 inches of movement, and it's just simply for we rolled over this unit and now we're moving on.
yeah, like if you're still in combat, yeah, you can consolidate through. You can move 3 inches, like sure, if you're not base to base,
Yeah.
and get closer to them. But otherwise, I think they need to get rid of everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that. All right.
Chris?
I want psychic abilities back. Like
Yeah.
Oh
like
yeah,
spell
honestly.
lists.
Psychic right now is just so forgotten in the back of the bookshelf.
Oh,
I was
100%.
also gonna maybe bring that up. I just didn't know how. Like, because I played with a psychic like turn, like very little. So I really didn't know how it
See,
worked to begin
I
with.
don't want a psychic round back, but I want
Just like in the
spells
shooting or
back,
command phase or
either shooting or command phase or something. Like I don't think everybody needs to sort of universally fit into the same, this one goes into the square hole type deal, but psychers need to be more than they currently are.
yeah, they don't do anything. Like just like the little guy or like the sisters on the custodians that I bring to hold my home point,
Mm.
they're all like anti-psyker and shit, and like nobody really is a psyker
Yeah, so they're
anymore. Like,
anti-thousand suns is what they are.
Or
yes,
or
yeah,
Grey
it's
Knights.
one
Or Grey
army.
Knights, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Nemesis weapons are all psychic weapons.
Yeah. So
Okay.
which is still kind of dumb.
So what they did, psychic, I think, never got completed. I don't think it ever got forgotten. I just think it was a situation it never completed. I like Chris's idea of lists back, so that like maybe each psyker has a personalized enhancement list that
Yeah.
they can choose, or not even personalized. There is just a basic psyker enhancement list. The same we have core stratagems. There's a core psyker enhancement list that gives you certain abilities. Because, like,
Yeah.
really, every army again had smite. Every army again had some sort of -1 to hit. Like, we could really generalize that. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. But I do think that would bring stuff back. I feel bad about psychic, to be honest. I like it's you play an army like Grey Knights where that's their thing, and now they feel like Silver Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thousand Suns at least still have the ability to be visually very different than the rest of Chaos.
Oh yeah.
But Grey Knights don't anymore.
No.
Like yes, if you look close enough, they have their Aegis armor and not just regular Mark whatever armor, but they are just Silver
I like
Space
their
Marines.
helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see. Well, and what they did was so it used to be that Terminators and so like your Justicar would have been a Psyker in 9th edition, and he would have been able to take certain abilities. One Sanctus ability or whatever. Now what they've done is whatever one most people took, which I think was Hammer of Wrath or whatever, they've just rolled into their abilities. So now when you charge, you get +1 to wound. And they call it Hammer of Wrath. Now, that's what Hammer of Wrath did in 9th edition, and now you can't fail it. So I guess that's a plus, but
I think the Grey Knights just need like a tweak to their their appeal, their motif. I don't know.
I really hope
do feel very samey.
So the thing with Grey Knights is back in 9th edition, they were the non-swingy Custodes. So in 9th edition, Custodes had D3 damage on most of their weapons. So you could hit everything and do 1 damage for every attack or 3 damage for every attack. It was just very swingy. And Grey Knights were every one of their weapons did 2 damage.
Middle ground.
Yeah. Well, they changed that. Now Custodes are just better.
Yeah.
Now, I think Grey Knights are still one of those armies that are really, really a high skill floor because of their uppy downies and now their Warpbane detachment, which plays like Awakened Dynasty, I think, which is the board control. Is Awakened Dynasty the board control one?
No, Canoptic.
Canoptic Court is.
Yeah, Canoptic is Zones of Power.
Yeah, so that's Warpbane, except that purifiers act as walking zones. So they're very strong. It's they don't feel special anymore.
Yeah. Get that.
Yeah. No, so like I said, I want Psychers to be more than they currently are. And like I said, this is adding a lot of work, I think, to the balance team, which I mean, oh no, they'll have to come back from vacation, I guess.
Mhm.
But I don't think it needs to be a one size fits all solution. I think they need to put some effort into making Psychers feel like Psychers for individual armies.
I mean, it's such a big part of the lore. I don't understand why it's been gutted so much.
Because it was hard for new people because the psychic phase sucked.
Who cares?
Well, but I agree that the psychic phase had to go. I just don't think they did it the right way.
It wasn't even that it was hard for new people, because yes, it was hard for new people, but like you could play Grey Knights or Space Marines and tap into it a tiny bit, or you could play Eldari and have to know everything about it.
Oh my God,
The problem was if you played Astra Militarum, or if you played World Eaters, or if you played an army that didn't have a psychic phase, for an entire turn, you just got yeeted off the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be its own phase anymore.
Because Smite was literally up to 6 mortal wounds per cast.
Yeah.
And there was armies that could do multiple castings of it.
Cough, cough, Grey Knights.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they need to do something with it. And I agree that I don't know if it needs to be its own phase, but finish baking, man.
Exactly.
Keep cooking.
All right. We're gonna save the maybe sweatiest for last. Mark.
Okay. So I think that my idea came up with, I think it's not groundbreaking. I think it's just healthy. Okay. I think
I like healthy.
the game could benefit, at least in a slight way, from a new evergreen stratagem. That for 1 CP, once per game, you could make a dying model that has deadly demise go off automatically.
Oh my
It's
God.
like a base
yes.
stratagem.
It's a evergreen
Orcs should
stratagem.
be able to do it.
Every army should have access to it. Once a game,
A core
use it
stratagem.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah, a new core stratagem, like insane bravery. Use it once and that's it, just to
Yep.
guarantee one explosion. I think it would add a little bit of health to the game, because right now Daily Demise is so miss. It's not hit or miss; it's just miss all the time. You don't play around it because it never happens anyway, and it feels bad every time it doesn't happen. So I just wanted that game space. I want that gaming space to just be more exciting.
Is this the part where
Snowy's actually went off today?
I have at least one go off almost every game.
Really?
I average like 5
chances
mortals
of it.
from Deadly Demise per game.
But you have 7 chances of it.
I mean, yeah, I get that, but like this is why I'm 100% in favor of this idea, because I've seen what Deadly Demise can do. That shit changes games. Like,
well, I also think it adds a level of, yeah, I'm going to kill your Land Raider. Okay, but if I blow it up, are you going to survive it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes you there's another layer to play around. It's like if I'm going into a knight's list, he's already gonna keep a CP on hand just in case that's gonna die. So that'll be a big clapback, and then you gotta try to get stuff out of range. It's I think it could add. I think it would add.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't have notes on that one.
Woo!
Yep. In favor of. Add it to the game,
Mark
James.
wins.
Come on. Well, hold on. So far, Mark is winning.
Is it a 1 CP or is it a?
It should be 1. 2's too much to keep on hand.
See, I'd say 1 CP, and I again max the damage at 6 mortals per unit.
But there aren't that many units that have a
did he-
Deadly Demise bigger than D6.
Did he say max mortals?
No,
No.
I was just no.
Yeah, so you still have to roll for the mortals.
Yeah.
So I wonder, do you just have straight 3? Like you pay the CP to blow it up, it does 3 mortals.
No, I think you pay the CP for Deadly Demise.
And you gamble.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. My idea.
All right.
Leadership needs to change.
I'm just saying.
And what I want it to be, I'm not saying we need to change Battle Shock. I'm not saying we need to bring back what's the attrition or whatever it was.
Oh
But
man.
leadership needs to change so that it is not a guaranteed success, or almost guaranteed success all the time.
Yeah, there's no risk
And
to it.
Mhm.
baked into this idea, because again, it all affects the leadership role. If you have, so I think if you suffer a model loss, you should have to roll a leadership test. I think that leadership test should be 1d6, and it should be on a scale of 1 to 4. Custodies should be 4. That should be the benchmark. Characters could be 3. And then like you have guard at 2. That type of, like, just make it much easier. 1 dice roll while you're done, right? I also think that since you're doing it after or if you've lost a model, if you are below half strength, it is -1, or sorry, not -1. It is re-roll success.
Oh, disadvantage.
My argument for this: Battle Shock is not game changing enough for it to be as hard as it is to get.
Mm-hmm.
You drop
Yeah.
OC, so many things right now can sticky. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
You can't use stratagems. You can mostly only use stratagems on 1 unit, anyways.
Yeah, so I'll use it somewhere else.
Yeah. So the idea is make it easier to get battle shocked, make it harder to pass that test, so that armies that rely on you battle shocking have a survivability rate.
Why do I feel like there's a lot of sympathy for me in these changes? I feel very like both supported and pitied right now.
No, not just Chaos Knights. Drukhari require it. Tyranids require it. Heck, my World Eaters would do better. My Exalted 8-bound would stop you from running away almost all the time.
Mhm.
We are so caught up in the epic battles and the holding out to the last that even lore-wise, that doesn't happen.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
Space Marines, sure. Chaos or Custodes, sure. Tyranids, if there's a Synapse creature around, sure. But like guards break all the time. That's why the commissaries exist.
Yep.
And if commissaries will now actually play a role because they can make your unit survive a failed battle shock. I think it makes Tyranids so much scarier with that Shadows of the Warp.
Yes. Actually, it
Yeah.
And then if you're already battle shocking in a -1 and now you have to reroll 6s because you're under half strength. Like I think it should be battle shock under full strength at any time. And then under half strength it's reroll 6s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the
that would-
idea would need some
benefit.
like balance team refinement, possibly could take a broader scope,
Yeah.
but I also don't know that I actually trust Warhammer's Battles team to do that. So
And maybe 1d6 doesn't give it enough playground for all the types of units out there. Maybe it does need to stay at 2d6. But like right now, unless you are a guard with no leader, you're passing a battle check 9 times out of 10.
no sweat.
Even at -1, like Chris said earlier, that's a 7-up. That's not
Yeah.
hard to do. And
No.
then
It is for me.
okay,
As
your bad
Custodes?
dice does not justify a rule setting.
Yeah, it
don't
does.
Custodies roll a 6-up with -1?
Yep.
No, they roll a 7.
No, I thought they were 6s.
No. Well, whatever it is, I still failed half of them.
Yeah, fair enough. No, but like I think that the majority of battle shock tests need to fail, and I think that'd be healthier for the game. The idea
a lot
is that you
healthier for
need
me.
to.
And he could
The
just
idea-
terror shade everybody.
Yeah.
Well, then again, maybe the balance team needs to get involved, but at the same time, the idea is that your unit has taken so much loss that they need to see if they are still battle capable. And I don't care how conditioned you are, if you are not psycho conditioned like a Space Marine, that happens before first or before your half strength. You don't lose Tim, Jim, Bob, Braun, and Zach before you go, oh God, this might hurt.
Yeah, that
I
makes sense to me.
so I'm not necessarily disagreeing with your idea. And
It's just shit.
no, what I honestly might actually argue in favor of is more options to trigger battle shock, even if the leadership doesn't change. Like armies that are battle shock dependent should have more ways to trigger battle shock, right? Like a stratagem for Chaos Knights for 1 CP that's, sound the war horns, and everyone within 12 inches of a knight battle shocks. Not like auto battle shocks, but rolls a test.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sort of along the lines of, because the army that they've done the best job with battle shock this edition is Tyranids.
Right.
Yes.
Even then, it's not great.
It's like the out of sequence gonna make them do it.
Right, but the Tyranids being able to force an out of sequence battle shock test on their entire opponent's army at a -2 if they're built for it, like that's vicious in a lot of cases. Because a 6 to a 7 isn't that much of a jump, but a 6 to an 8 on a 2d6 test is noticeable.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe that's what they need to do, is not change the leadership per se, but actually make it easier to push. So
well,
maybe
just make it relevant. It doesn't feel relevant.
No.
You think?
And go ahead.
I was thinking about for Snowy's army, like right now, don't your knights they give you -1 if you're in an aura, right?
Yeah, if you're within 12 inches of a knight, you have to battle shock at any damage, not at half, on your command phase. And you do it at a -1 if you're within 12 inches. And then I have the Abominant has the ability to force a battle shock test in the movement phase. And then there's an enhancement. I think it's an enhancement that lets me force a battle shock test in the movement phase as well. And then another one that lets me force a battle shock on one unit in combat with a big knight at the start of both fight phases.
Do you
So let
think
me ask you.
it would? I just wanted to complete my thought real quick.
Yeah,
Do
go
you
ahead.
think it would be? Do you think it would be absolutely terrible or more healthy for for instead of just being a 12-inch aura? What if it was just line of sight?
See, but
Battle
line of
shock?
sight is a little bit too easy to game in both directions.
I think it's very
Yeah,
flavorful.
I mean, fucking line of sight is everywhere now. It's not even base. It's not even the bases anymore. It's the models.
Yeah.
Chaos Knights are terrifying to look at. I'm just saying. I'm gonna shit my pants.
But I mean, even if it was just like, instead of being a 12-inch aura, it's just, oh, you're fighting knights. Okay, well, you have to battle shock a lot more. Like, get rid of the 12-inch bubble and just make it, there are fucking chaos knights you're gonna be battle shocking.
So the question I have then, you can make them battle shock on any damage, right?
As long as one model in the unit is dead, or if it's a single model, if they've taken any wounds.
Okay, so any loss they take a battle shock.
But only if they're within 12 inches of me. Otherwise, it's normal.
Right. So which lends to me saying battle shock should happen on any loss and not just at half. My argument to, like, because you said it needs to be relevant, but you might not want to change the leadership or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Outside of Pilch, how many times do you battle shock an opponent?
On average, once a battle.
So 5 rounds.
Yeah, 5 rounds, my opponent average fails 1 battle shock test.
That's insane to me. With what you just said, how often you can force it per round?
Yeah, well, and this was actually back when I was running the Abominant with the aura that let the Abominant force 2 separate battle shock tests on my turn. So I would force like a battle shock. So it is a battle shock during the movement phase, a battle shock at the end of movement phase, and then any damage within 12 inches of me on your command phase, and the Rampager has the ability to force a battle shock at the top of both fight phases. And running all of that, I maybe averaged 1.5.
Well, but that's what I mean. Like that to me is insane.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah,
bonkers. But
And
this is where
it-
like my argument, my counterpoint to that would be that the leadership values are just too strong. Like your
Yeah.
average guardsman should be leadership 10. Like a 10 up leadership.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you know what the leadership for a guardsman is?
Like
It's
8 or
like
some
8
shit.
or
Fucking
7.
8.
Oh
Oh.
my god.
And then if you put a
They're still-
commissar within range, they use a commissar's leadership. Guess what the commissar's leadership is?
That's 6, isn't it?
6.
Yeah.
So then we're back to,
Yeah.
look, now you're battle shocking on a 7 as an Imperial
Which is
Guardsman being stared
still
down
better
by a
than their
Knight
beast mode.
Rampager.
Yeah. It's like my mindless automaton canoptic doomstalkers have a leadership 8, and they just can't even feel anything.
Yeah.
The guardsman is just as steeled. Crazy.
Yeah. No, because, but I think part of it is because when they're designing a lot of this stuff, one, the designers aren't in the same room, which is a problem. But too many of them sit down and they design the army as if they're the ones that people are going to write books about, right? Like every army is, the hardcore Cadian veterans that were on the last transport off the planet before it cracked. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
that's not every guardsman. And I shouldn't have to fight those specific guardsmen every time I fight guardsmen.
It's like, oh shit,
That's
Yark is
not
here
how
again.
this works.
It's like if
Shit, it's
every
Larry.
soldier we sent into Vietnam was Rambo, that would be the approximate equivalent.
Yeah. Just too high octane, too
It's too much.
perfect.
You can have one or
Yeah.
two here or there, but they should be the ones that you write stories about, not the literal baseline army design.
Yeah. Oops, all Brando.
Yeah. Yeah. If I
Okay.
ever make a guardsman list, I'm gonna run Cadians. I'm gonna call the list Oops, all Rambo.
Also need to update the Catachan fighter model, but that's not important.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Fully agree. Standing complaints about I will still, as much as Limerick's idea benefits me more, I will still give Mark the win for like the no notes, put it in the game
Yeah.
right now.
Woo!
Best idea.
Yes.
I'll take it.
But yeah, I
I like-
still feel very pitied after this conversation.
Oh my god. When I've had games where like, oh, my Void Dragon's dead. It'd be so cool if it exploded right now. And it's like, wait, this never happens anyway. Why am I getting my hopes up? And
Yeah.
then nothing happens, and we move on. I was like, that would be so cool. Like, I'm
Yeah.
taking you with me.
No, and when it does happen, like I had a really epic moment where I had a rampage or a carnivore that charged a Night Lancer that was damaged when I was playing Imperial Knights. And Carnivore fucked his rolls hard, like rolled 4 1s to wound. It was so bad. And so the Rampager turned around and smacked the shit out of it, but then the Carnivore blew up and took the Lancer with him. And like that moment, it was so good because it was like, fuck you. It still cost me the game because then I couldn't score the secret mission that I was working on. But
Yeah, whatever. It's cool.
it was a good moment. And I more deadly demises, I think, would be good for the game in general. So, and now I'm hearing Limerick's headphones.
Sorry. No,
Why is
Okay,
my-
somebody talk because I keep trying to let you guys speak because I think people are sick of hearing me. So
No, you're good. I just wanted to muse aloud. Why not? Why doesn't every vehicle in the game have deadly demise?
I think all of them, everything with the vehicle keyword does, it's monsters that tend to lack it.
No. I've got one at Necrons.
Necrons don't count.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I think some of the Tyranids do. I don't think all of them do.
Yeah, some of them explode into like acid pools or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm almost positive all the Astra Militarum ones do. Minus
My-
the walkers, which aren't technically vehicles.
No, they're walkers. It's different.
The only example I'm thinking of.
Oh,
is
they still
my-
have Deadly Demise 1.
What the hell?
So it literally
Mike
is just
not
fuck the
expired.
Necrons.
My Canoptic Spider is a vehicle. It's got the vehicle
Okay,
keyword. No
it's
deadly
a
demise.
spider. It weighs 3.5 pounds.
It's full of scarab.
Yeah.
Let me grow up.
Actually, oh no, okay, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna run with this one. The spider needs a deadly demise that is 3 bases of scarabs. It doesn't do
3
damage,
scarabs.
but it pops out 3 bases of scarabs when you kill it.
I
Like
think I'd
fucking
rather
like.
the mortals.
You don't like my scarab? It'd be like the gray and the blue fucking demon things or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
the pink horrors.
yeah, pink horrors. Like that. Oops, scarabs. All scarabs.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the Norn, the Tyrannifex, and the Mouseceptor is the only thing that
Ooh.
has deadly demise.
Oh yeah,
I've
that's
got
right.
one more idea. I completely forgot about this.
Oh boy. Yep.
You know how like in the rules, infantry and beasts can go through walls.
Mhm.
Swarms can't go through walls. You have to go around.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
does that make? How does that make sense?
I don't know. I have complaints about the same thing because I'm running Nurglings for the first time as part of like getting ready for this tournament. And they have the swarm keyword, but not the infantry keyword, and it is a problem, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put yours in the middle of the board, and then they just sit there the rest of the game.
Well, that's literally they can't do anything else because they go anywhere, they die.
It's like, oh shit, boys, a door. Go around it.
Run away.
It's like fucking vampires.
Yeah, 100%. Too funny. What else? I had something else I wanted to talk about tonight. Oh, Pels, I just put together what you were saying.
Let somebody got it.
It's a swarm. It could be kindergartners.
Yeah.
Can't go over it. Can't
Especially
go under
Nurglings.
it. Can't go
Gotta
through
go
it.
around it.
Gotta go around it. And now every time I move my Nurglings all weekend at this tournament, I'm gonna be gotta go around it.
Okay.
Opponent's gonna be like, what?
Okay. So I am gonna derail us a bit here, and I apologize.
You're
do it.
apologizing for throwing content at us? Come on, man.
It's like the 5th rail, bro.
I am currently going through the results of what I did earlier today, which is vote for certain web reports. I don't really know what that is, but anyways, it's an award for like games, online content creators. Anyways, one of the content creators I asked his followers to do it. I'm like, I'm home, have nothing to do. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
One of the categories is technical achievement. In those 5, the top 5 is World of Warcraft VR experience, Escape from Downer. Yes. Then Dragon Age the Veilguard. Then Black Myth Wukong. Then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The last one was Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2.
So, okay, I will agree with Space Marine 2 being the winner, but only on a technicality. Continue.
So it wasn't the winner. It won 3rd.
3rd?
Yes. First place is Black Myth Wukong.
Okay, see, that I'm less mad about.
Second place is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
What?
Technical achievement?
Technical achievement.
What do they do?
First off,
innovative.
Black Myth Wukong, as far as I understand, is a very pretty and well-balanced game, but it's nothing new.
It's basically an easier Elden Ring.
It is.
Yeah,
the reason I agree with technical achievement is because it is built in God's least favorite engine and ran smoothly from launch. They did the thing that AAA games are supposed to do, and they did it properly the first time. And for that, they deserve the award. No comment. Good job, boys. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Yeah, I disagree with that one right off the bat. I disagree with Wukong only because I believe Space Marine 2 should take it for the fact that they created an AI system that has never existed for swarm technologies.
Well, okay, so here's where I'm gonna devil's advocate this one a little bit because I will assert myself into the camp that Space Marine 2 should have won because of that list, which is a stupid list. It's the closest to being truly innovative. And Space Marine 2's tech is not new. It was created for World War Z. It was refined for
Mm.
Space Marine, but it is not new tech.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it's built off of the same engine that they designed for World War Z. And in World War Z, it was
Okay.
revolutionary. What they did was they
Yeah.
took it and they made it better. They refined it, they cleaned it up, they made it run a lot smoother so that they can put triple the number of enemies on screen. And that's where I agree that there's a technical achievement, because they took the Swarm engine that they already done a phenomenal job with, and they made it good enough for the scale of Space Marine, but it is not new.
Okay, fair enough. Then, knowing that, I concede. It still should have beat Final Fantasy, but
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah, was there any like basis for the Final Fantasy vote, or like?
no,
did it
it's
say?
just it's a popularity contest.
It is a
That's what it
but
is.
that's a stupid thing to have a popularity contest on.
Yes.
That's one of those cases that like the average person's opinion shouldn't count. Like,
Well, it's the same like Balatro.
Oh yeah. Game of the Year.
Well, it won Game of the Year earlier. It in every category it's won.
yeah.
And just to give you an idea of what those categories are, strategy and simulation, independent creator, action adventure, immersive
Okay.
experience, puzzle and trauma,
Hmm.
or puzzle and drama.
Puzzle and trauma. I was like, well, that they made that category for Balatro.
Yeah.
Puzzle trivia and card games. And I'm like,
So okay,
how?
some of those I agree with, because Balatro is like, it's roguelike poker is what it is.
Yeah, but tell me that that's not a popularity bias.
Oh, there's 100% of popularity bias. There's also a general discontent with AAA games bias, where people see an indie game that's doing well and they're like, fuck you, Activision, I'm going to vote for Balatro.
Yeah.
It's a thing of beauty.
Honest, and
The,
that's the reason I'll support it. I'm 100% behind it. Get bent, AAA gaming.
No, and like for the most part, I agree with that. I just like for puzzle, trivia, card, and word games, it goes up against Wordglyph, Stitch, Dilemma, and Pokemon trading card game Pocket.
That game,
Which-
everybody was playing that game.
Mhm.
So the Pokemon trading, not Pokemon Go,
No,
No,
TCG
yeah,
Pocket. Yeah.
It's a TCG Pocket.
yeah, TCG Pocket. It
It's
is-
fucking MTG
it's
Arena for
slow drip.
Pokemon fans.
It's slow drip cocaine.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
My brother,
Just give me another
who has
bump.
no
Just give me-
interest. Yeah, he's got no skin in the game for Pokemon. There's no cards. He downloaded the app and he bothers me like, hey, you want this pack for me? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is on a screen.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And Balatro's winning, and I'm like, that makes no sense.
See, but again, I support this specifically from the standpoint of fuck all you guys, Balatro's a protest vote.
So okay, at what point? So what do we consider AAA?
Yeah,
I honestly, to me, it's generally anything with a studio that's more than like 75 people.
Okay, because like my question is at what point does the fact that it's a low res game make it not an indie game?
Well, that's just it. Like, you can have a low res AAA game. I don't know why you would, because most AAA developers are like, more graphics.
Okay, no, perfect example. Right now, Minecraft, AAA or indie?
Minecraft?
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Minecraft is AAA. Minecraft Java is still indie.
It's owned by the same people.
Maybe
Yeah, but
Maybe the-
Minecraft Java is still the version that what's his fuck made back in the day.
Yes, but you are right in the fact that it's a different version. But the IP, is it an indie IP or is it AAA?
Okay, if you're asking about the IP from a top level, it's become AAA.
Yeah. Minecraft
But it
movie
is also still low res.
Yeah, but low res doesn't matter. The point is, like, Minecraft has a fucking Hollywood movie starring Jack Black. That's
Oh,
not
no.
an indie property.
No,
I guess I would say like
I'm
budget.
saying-
I think budget to measure AAA.
yeah. I think Mark's probably the most correct. It is budget. For me, I think, how do I put it? We need to start treating indie developers the same way we treat one and done music artists.
One
Hey,
hit
that was a
wonders.
cool
Really?
song. Yeah, that was a cool song 8 years ago, and move on.
Mm.
They're not like, just because they produced a wonderful game doesn't mean they're revolutionary. It means they're talented. But let's see what they do with that now jackload of money.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Yes.
Maybe not related to your statement, but how old do you think Balatro is?
I've never even looked at it. I've watched videos of it, but I've never looked at it in a store or anything.
It's like less than 6 months old.
Oh, yeah. No, I knew it was new. Like, I figured you were going to tell me it was older than that. Like,
No,
ancient.
no. I'm saying that like it deserves to be in a lot of these lists at the very least because it is new and it is really good.
Yes. I'm not saying it isn't really good. I'm saying that okay. As a person who inherently is suspicious of indie development because I've been burned a couple times and
Mhm.
things like Apex exists.
Mhm.
Arc, sorry, not Apex, Arc. Arc exists. I hate people who like Balatro is a great game. Cool. Let's stop there. It's a great game because it's indie, and it's a great game. No, I'm sorry. Indie does not make it better or worse than anything else.
Indie doesn't affect the quality conversation if you're having a proper conversation, but the fact that it's an indie game that has done as well, that is as good as it is and has done as well as it does, I think merits a different kind of conversation where it deserves recognition for pulling off the 1 in a million chance.
But is it a 1 in a million chance?
Yeah. Do you know how much
One of these-
slop gets shoveled onto the Steam store every day?
Yeah, and we hear about one of these things every year. Last year it was Pal World. The year before that it was
I will dispute Pal World being indie. Pal World is like AA.
It's yeah, we all know what we're talking about here.
Like to me, indie is a team of less than 10 people. And the people that describe anything that is not coming from like Activision, Ubisoft, or EA as indie are being disingenuous with that label.
Yeah. I do get both sides.
But Pal World's development team was like 40 people, wasn't it?
It's not very
Pocket
many.
Pair has an entire company of 55 people.
Yeah, AA.
That's their entire company.
Yeah, I know. AA. 40 devs, 15 like support / leadership staff. I'm pretty sure that's the breakdown if I remember right. It's been a long time since I looked into it. But I still maintain that Pal World does not qualify as an indie game. It's not AAA, but it's not indie either.
Yeah, it had a decent budget. Yeah. That's a
What
simple
was?
metric.
Do you remember what the budget was? It's like 5 million, 6 million, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we can easily verify this information. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can very quickly Google it. I literally have like Firefox up on my other monitor, and I'm just not.
So one of the things that I have seen going around, and I don't disagree with it, is that we are going to be entering an indie renaissance soon, because game prices are getting so expensive, despite the fact that game distribution has made game development cheaper than ever.
Yep.
Making a video game is cheaper now than ever because you don't need a physical copy.
Yeah.
Yep.
One-stop shop for distribution.
Right. But AAA companies aren't lowering their prices. Like we're seeing the Switch, which is going to be largely online. The Switch 2, which is going to be largely online, itself is being sold for the price of a PS5.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like $500.
Yeah, because it's
with the games already
supposed to be
starting
competitive.
with well, it's not going to be competitive with the PS5. I'm sorry. That
No, I know, but like it's supposed to be Nintendo's swing at like they're stepping up to the plate to swing at making a central console for the home and not a supplementary console like what the Switch was.
Yes.
Mhm.
They're making a gamer's console, not a family console.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
get that. But each game is starting price is 80 Canadian, so 75 American or something like that.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
and
Looking at like
And
for physical copies, looking up to like 90 American, which is insane.
well, and that's the thing. Like it is stupidly costed, whereas indie developers can get their stuff on there for cheaper and not have the required profit margins for backers and stuff, right? And everyone's like, "Oh, that's going to be great for the market and everything," because indies are like they treat indies like they're just wholesome little children that just need a shot. And I hate that mentality. Like indie developers can be great. Balatro is proof of that. They can do great things and unique things. There's a part of me that like just because it's indie doesn't make it good. And I'm not even talking quality. I'm talking developers as well. Like at one point, all these big companies were indie companies. And as we have seen by the fact that the leadership of Blizzard was just as bad as everybody else, and they were part of the creators, doesn't make you a good person not to be AAA. And so, like, I don't want to give, and it's a rant that doesn't really affect anything that we usually talk about, but I actually maybe it does, because you look at things like Trench Crusade, which is what I'd call indie tabletop.
Yeah, definitely.
It like if it's a great system, great. I don't want it to survive simply because it's not GW.
Yeah, true.
Like there needs to be a competitive market, but we don't need to inflate that simply because it's not the thing that is good.
Yeah, like variety is so cool, but make it good variety.
Well, and that's exactly it. And I think as a consumer, we need to be aware of that. Just because it's not the quote unquote monopoly doesn't automatically make it worthwhile being on the scene.
They still gotta be good.
Perfect example of that is Star Wars Legion. Has great ideas behind it. The models aren't bad, but the community is non-existent because it's not backed by anybody. Well, I'm sorry, if you don't want to back events, why am I buying your product? Like GW is willing to back events. GW is willing to do stuff. Yeah, I don't know. And from the sounds of Trench Crusade's looking to do the same thing eventually. So we'll see. I still have it on my suspect list that come December we'll wonder where the hell they went.
Please.
Well, I mean, so they're selling their model STLs online.
Yeah.
I can't find anybody who has them.
Oh yeah, I think it was a Kickstarter at first.
Yeah, well, you can actually go to their website now.
But like, do they? So as someone who's into 3D printing and considering trying to make some money off my 3D printers while I wait for a friggin' job, is there a commercial license with the STLs, or are they only for personal use?
I would let me check.
Because unless Trench Crusade very specifically states that you can either purchase a commercial license in a specific spot, or that they come with a commercial license when you buy them, nobody can sell them.
People will want the official models, even though it's an agnostic game.
Oh, people absolutely will want the official models, but they're gonna have to get the STLs and either find somebody who can print them for them, or be somebody with their own printer.
We gotta do an episode on Trench Crusade at one point.
It is so. It's just a store license.
A store license?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, is it for commercial use?
No, personal use only.
Yeah.
Which I get, But I'm telling you, these people that are willing to print me off other things with the same thing don't even have the STLs for this model or for these things.
Right. So there's no market even
So
for the models to be printed.
right, and like, and when I say this, I live in a university town. Every nerd here has a 3D printer except me. It looks like, and it being a relatively tight knit tabletopping community, I figured like I can get parts of GW models printed, like parts, man. But I can't find anybody who's taken the time to even look into this stuff.
Yep.
And it's a shame because like the lore is amazing. I love the idea of the lore. But if it doesn't start to gather traction soon, it will be passed on.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It's like all word of mouth right now, I think.
Well, and like they
And
had
they
their big surge of marketing, and then everybody just sort of forgot about them. Is what
Yeah.
it feels like, at least.
Yeah, there's no storefront, there's no online presence really. There's no events.
Speaking of other games, I have found a IP that's more expensive than GW.
Oh
How?
god.
Bolt Action.
Really?
At least where I'm at right now, frick. So a 2-person starter set, which comes with 2 3/4 sized armies and the rule books and everything you need to play, runs the cost of about 2.5 combat patrols.
It's like what, 300?
So in
$400?
Canadian, it's 420.
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, oh,
And that's with my discount at the FLGS.
jeez.
That's
That's
insane.
what, 1.4.
And I'm like, I
Sorry,
do not understand, because like it's the game system looks decent. It's World War II or World War One for the most part, but I guess World War II. I don't know why they call it bolt action, but World War II.
Someone has a bolt rifle.
Well, I said World War One, and I'm pulling up the models and I'm looking at a Panzer, and I'm like, they didn't have those in World War. And I went to university to know that. I'll cry into my drink now. No, so yeah, I don't know. I think as consumers we need to be aware that just because it's not the big well-known giant corporation doesn't give it inherent value.
Yeah, I get that. I can agree with that.
And we still need to be smart. We need to apply every bit of every grain of sand we give to, for example, GW, we need to apply to everybody else too. Otherwise, we're just not being smart.
Whoa. You gotta tell me how to consume limerick? I'll run my rat race and you run your own, okay? All right.
By all means, buy whatever you want. I just recently decided to settle down with one army. Otherwise, I was probably providing close to 2% of GW's financial success.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that like recently. Like, if I would buy and paint a second army, what would I do?
Well, if you want to buy but not paint, I may know someone that has an Imperial or Astra Militarum army.
I'm not smart enough to do an Astra Militarum army.
Neither am I. That's why I know someone that needs to get rid of it.
It's like I will never understand how a guards player keeps track of their orders. I just couldn't do it. I would use the wooden tokens, put them down, I would instantly forget about them.
I just couldn't play them strategically enough. That's why I play World Eaters. There is no strategy. There's just running at you.
Hell yeah, brother.
There is just run.
I do
Yeah.
not know who I am or why I'm here. All I know is I must kill.
Smooth brain processes.
That's kind.
Why are we talking about Pilch?
Hey,
Wow.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second.
No, I was just saying that Mark mentioned that he needed to, or was thinking about a second army, and I said, hey,
I
if you want to play
need a
Imperial
second
Guard,
army.
Well, you don't understand. I am such the pusher to people I know. It's so bad. So my dad, who is working a lot right now, doesn't have much time to do much painting or building. He'll be like, "Yeah, I'm looking to get back into painting," and I'll be like, "Yeah, you should." And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know if I have time for it." I'm like, "But then get something small. Even if you don't get something for your army, just something small that you can paint whenever you have free time."
Yeah, I think this
So
month's free model is a Kriegsman sergeant or some shit.
yeah,
Just go
I haven't
paint
what
it.
taken
I'm
my
what
Norn out of
I'm
the box.
yeah, we gotta get you going on that, brother. Come on.
It's scary. It's large.
I know it is, but
Yeah,
it'll be a good learning experience.
Yeah,
large surfaces are more fun to paint. I was about to say
better,
more better to paint.
more
Mo
better.
better.
Oh, better.
More body, more better.
Mo body, mo better. It's the same
More
way I
better.
feel about my I mean
Whoa!
Does your wife know this? Because I think she just got
Whoa.
offended.
no,
This is not a
no.
late night
She knows.
podcast.
She
Oh my
knows.
god! Oh my
I-
god!
As I tell my wife, I have to fatten her up so she can't run away.
Oh my god. Yeah,
I'd
you
rather be
forget
fat and
though. I
jolly
live
than skinny
in
bitch.
buttfuck Hicktown.
Yeah.
She'll not have any problems if something happens to me.
It's like, don't worry. There's enough meat in the freezer to last you through winter. It's fine with us. All.
Is that a euphemism?
You'll survive.
Oh boy. Yeah, I think that's everything for us. I am dummy excited to go to this tournament finally, and I'm really crossing my fingers that I can pull together enough stream scratch to buy a ticket to the GCC Open this summer, because there's finally an open event coming to not the United States.
Oh,
So, Mr. Chris,
Yeah.
can we on stream, which is edited by you, so it might not make the final cut, get promise that you that I will be able to sit down with you sometime next week and go over your tournament.
I will commit to that. Of course, by the time this releases, that might have already happened, but I will commit to doing a debrief next week.
deep dive.
So there we go.
Wow. Looks like I know, Chris. Congratulations on getting committed, bro. You know,
Ooh.
really glad you're trying to.
Honestly, getting committed would be good at this point, because then my family could still claim the insurance money, and I wouldn't have to keep looking for a goddamn job. I'm so tired of getting these fucking emails every morning that I have to get.
Oh, from Indeed, yeah, I fucking hate it.
Indeed and LinkedIn and Canada Job Bank and the A-list system and
And every time you get an email, you just get more anxious, and then you get more frustrated. Oh yeah.
yeah.
But do you have anybody that forwards you jobs?
Yep.
Yeah, isn't that fun too?
Yep. My mother keeps finding remote job postings that are associated with the government of Canada because she contracts for them. And she's like, "Could you do this job?" And I'm like, "I could." Me and 1,100 other people.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, remote jobs are they're so hot ticket items.
They're a hot topic, but like Canada's job
usually
market
suck.
is in a bad way.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Like I work for a recruiting firm, so like we get job contract postings, and we have you know 2 days ahead of other firms to find people for them. Fully remote positions, they come and go in about 4 hours. They close the candidate pool in about 4 hours.
Yeah.
You know, they just get so many applications.
Yep. No, that sounds about right. So
Could be worse. You could be employed and still not working.
I don't 100% agree that that's necessarily worse. I mean, your reasons for it are 100% worse. I'm not going to say that your situation is better than mine, but like, goddamn, dude, we're throwing punches at the bottom of the barrel here. Like,
yeah, I know. I dug a foot deeper than you.
oh.
This has been nice.
I don't know that you dug a foot deeper. I think you got slammed a foot deeper by a big fucking piece of metal.
Have you?
It's like 1 foot in the grave. I got 2. I'm deeper in the grave. I'm in the grave. All
I'm
the way at the
further in.
bottom.
Yeah, no,
Exactly. We call that a race to the bottom.
Yeah, no jokes. All right. Well, anybody got any closing statements or any more fucking homework, Limerick?
No.
Whenever there's releases, happy birthday, Ryan. I don't know when it's coming up, but
Oh
soon.
yeah. Well, his birthday is the
Yeah.
wait, is it 25th? I think it's the 25th. I'm pretty sure. I might
You're
be
his
off by a day.
brother.
Yeah, and I have a terrible memory. I forget my own birthday most years. I'm 99% sure it's the 25th. I might be off by a day, but either way, we'll actually have another episode before his birthday, so we'll say happy birthday then as well. But
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We could talk behind his back, but he probably will listen to this. So
yeah, no, he'll listen back to it. We can talk about how he's smelly or he has long hair like a hippie or all kinds of things, but somehow he still ended up married. So
yeah, well, crazy things happen in the dark.
Okay, we're gonna end it there. Jesus. All right. Good night. Thank you for your ears. Thank you for being here with us. We'll see everybody in 2 weeks. Taking care of yourselves. Blackstone out.